Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson and welcome back to the Xiaolin Perspectives, and today we're going to be discussing episode 32 of Xiaolin Showdown, the Year of the Green Monkey, and the episode begins with the Xiaolin monks going on a little horse ride, as all of them are just kind of riding horses through the countryside, though Omi ends up having a little technical issues as his horse ends up stopping to eat some leaves off of a bush, and Omi ends up using the tongue of Saiping to ask why his horse isn't doing it, and his horse just tells him that he's tired and he needs a break, with Omi chastising the horse before the two of them get into a physical altercation, which results in the horse just throwing Omi off right into a tree, and thanks to the effects of the tongue of Saiping, various other animals around the area start openly mocking Omi, and it leads to him actually getting into a fight with them, more specifically a monkey. However, all of this gets broken up by Master Feng, who takes the tongue of Saiping away from Omi because he thinks that maybe it's best left to someone who isn't going to get into a fight with the local wildlife. And he's also here to let the Xiaolin monks know that a new Shengong Wu has revealed itself. In this case, a Shengong Wu called the Fountain of Wei, which is supposed to be able to grant whoever utilizes it pretty much unlimited knowledge, which sounds useful on the surface. The problem is that all the knowledge it gives is random. You can't control what knowledge you'll get and when, and unfortunately, as we see it when it actually is used, if you're overexposed to it, you will get filled up with every little secret of the universe, and it could cause your head to explode. However, there is a way around this, where you see the Fountain of Wei has a sister Shengong Wu, a telescope called the Eagle Scope, that when utilized in conjunction with the Fountain of Wei will allow someone access to any bit of knowledge that they desire, essentially granting them the secrets of the universe just at their fingertips. So yeah, when you have those two together, you're set. As such, the Xiaolin monks go out once again to get the Fountain of Wei, which is located in a random junkyard. And of course, they run to Jack Spicer, and, well, they don't even have to fight Jack to get the Fountain of Wei. He unleashes a horde of junk bots after them, but they end up falling apart before the monks even have to fight it, because apparently Jack had this robot powered by a simple extension cord, which gets unplugged when it gets too far away from the outlet. So, yeah. So yeah, easy win. Xiaolin monks find the Fountain of Wei, and everything is all good. Well, mostly. For you see, this particular Shengong Wu nabbing was viewed by a one Chase Young, who is impressed that the Xiaolin monks have made such progress in such a short time, and he decides that now is the time that evil may need to strike back, so to speak. And as such, later that evening, he pays a visit to Jack. And of course, Jack is all excited to see Chase again, as his hero worship is still in full effect, and Chase finds it just as annoying now as he did in earlier episodes. However, he does want Jack for something, and for this particular something, he needs two specific Shengong Wu, the Monkey Staff and the Tongue of Saiping, one of which Jack has, the other of which is with the Xiaolin monks. But Jack tells Chase that he can get the tongue whenever he needs to, and while Chase is still clearly annoyed at Jack and does give him some threats to pretty much just back the hell off, he does promise Jack that once this is all over, Jack will have his own evil army of his own, something that Jack salivates at hearing. As such, that evening, Jack pretty much gets his break-in plan in effect, as he pretty much just does a Trojan horse entry, as he pretty much just sends a giant statue of himself straight to the Xiaolin monk's door. And it's here we see that the Xiaolin temple has an alarm system. That's great. It only took 2/3 of the way through season 2. Whatever, I'm beating it a horse. Point is, the Xiaolin monks see through the statue and break it up, but they don't find Jack. However, just to be safe, they do post a guard in front of the Xiaolin temple. However, it turns out the statue was not what Jack was using to break into the temple. For you see, the statue was holding a giant fruit basket, and it turns out Jack was hidden in one of the fruits, specifically the banana. As such, using the monkey staff, Jack is able to just sneak through the temple, evading the Xiaolin monks at every turn, until he manages to sneak into the vault and grab the Tongue of Saiping. As such, after making a getaway and meeting back up with Chase Young, Chase uses the Tongue of Saiping, and he ends up calling out to a nearby forest, and he calls for all of the monkeys to come to him. And from there, an army of green monkeys comes flooding out. And the thing is, the reason why Chase is utilizing these specific animals is because apparently it's the year of the green monkey. So at this point in time, monkeys are at their most powerful. And the monkey staff, which normally just makes someone more monkey-like the more they use it, Well, at this point in time, the monkey staff is now at its most dangerous to use, especially if you are using it to consistently be a monkey. And the thing is, ever since the Xiaolin break-in, Jack has been a monkey, and he has not put that particular Shen Gong Wu down. As such, hold on one second. Sorry, I thought I heard something. But anyway, yeah. Chase pretty much puts his plan into action, as using the tongue, he pretty much just tells this entire monkey army that they now work for Jack. Whatever he does, they do. Whatever he asks of them, they do it. And of course, Jack kind of has fun with this, as he just starts playing a game of Simon Says with his army of monkeys, and they're following him exactly, which annoys Chase, but ultimately Jack is just reveling in the fact that he doesn't need to have his army, and he does not waste any time as he leads this army of monkeys straight to the Xiaolin temple, wherein they end up ambushing the Xiaolin monks right in their courtyard. And while the Xiaolin monks do end up doing their best to try and fight off the army of monkeys, well, it's sadly a losing battle. As while the Xiaolin monks have higher intelligence on their side, the monkeys have feralness and sheer numbers, and as a result, they end up overpowering the Xiaolin monks to the point where they end up holding themselves off in one of the buildings on the temple grounds, effectively ensuring that Jack and the monkeys pretty much have taken over the entirety of the temple. Which, again, it's kind of weird that we don't see any of the nameless elder monks here, but I don't know, maybe they're holed up somewhere else. I don't know. It just feels weird that these four Xiaolin monks are always the ones that have to defend the temple. It's weird. We saw the elder monks in earlier episodes be able to defend the place, so why not now? I don't know. It just bugs me. Point is, Jack has taken control of the temple. And as such, the Xiaolin monks, realizing that they're kind of hosed, think that if they want to take Jack down, then they might need a bit of extra help. And thankfully, that's when they decide they need to use the Fountain of Wii, as they think with its unlimited knowledge, they might be able to find some way of taking Jack down. As such, Omi uses the Fountain of Wii, and basically, what I kind of like is how they show how the Fountain of Wii is used, as once it's activated, it opens up and pretty much coats someone in a fountain of water, and the longer they stay in it, the more knowledge they get. And as such, Omi does get flooded with a barrage of information, and thankfully the Xiaolin monks are able to pull him out before his head essentially explodes from all the knowledge. But unfortunately, all the knowledge that Omi got is all, as Master Monk said earlier, just random, unorganized. He doesn't know, he can't really give the right information at the right time, and so he's just spouting a bunch of random tidbits of knowledge that nobody gives a shit about, none of which are helpful to the Xiaolin monk's current situation. And unfortunately, with the monkeys themselves, Jack's not faring any better, as, well, with the Year of the Green Monkey in full swing, well, the monkey staff is having more and more of an effect on Jack, as he's not only becoming more monkey-like, he's just straight up becoming a monkey, as his higher brain function starts slowly going down to the point where I don't even think he's Jack anymore. He's just a giant monkey with Jack's face and wearing some of his tattered clothes. He even at one point just stops speaking and only just starts yelling and howling and just playing games with all the monkeys. Though clearly enough of his memories are still intact, because he still lords this over the Xiaolin monks, as he and his monkey army keep playing in the courtyard of the temple, and Jack just kind of spits his tongue out at the monks, and if he sees them, he just goes on the attack. So again, he's still a viable threat. And as night turns to day, the Xiaolin monks are still wondering how the hell that they can take Jack down. Well, they end up getting into this train of thought ends up getting derailed as Dojo starts freaking out as a new Shengongu reveals itself, specifically the Eagle Scope, which it makes sense why that'd be the next Shengongu that revealed itself. I mean, when we had the Mosaic scale a few episodes ago, its sister Shengongu, the Monarch Wings, was the next Shengongu to activate. So it makes sense that it would be the case with other similar Shengongu that have similar connections. And as such, while Omi is bit by bit recovering from his overflow of knowledge to the point where he kind of has a minor headache, mentioning the Eagle Scope does get his gray matter percolating, as he does start talking about again how the Eagle Scope and the Fountain of Wii can be used in conjunction. And by extension, Omi ends up figuring something out that he didn't before, as he not only figures out that it was Chase Young that bankrolled Jack's whole takeover of the temple, but he also figures out that Chase Young is only using Jack. You see, Chase Young didn't give Jack this evil monkey army because he wanted to give Jack ultimate power and see the Xiaolin monks taken down. No. In reality, he needs the Xiaolin monks distracted, because Chase knew that the Eagle Scope would soon reveal itself. And the thing is, Master Feng wasn't kidding. Using the Fountain of Wi and the Eagle Scope together, you can gain access to any tidbit of knowledge that your heart desires. Anything! Including the secret to eradicating evil from this world forever. And, well, Chase thinks that is a tidbit of knowledge that the Xiaolin monks should not get their hands on. And as such, he set this whole thing up, took advantage of the time of year, in order to sick Jack Spicer on these guys, just to keep the Xiaolin monks distracted when the Eagle Scope finally revealed itself. In other words, the Xiaolin monks realized that the Xiaolin monks realized that this whole thing is a diversion, and they need to take Jack out if they want to find the Eagle Scope. And thankfully, Omi is able to use some of the knowledge that he has in his head to get a plan to take Jack out. In this case, it's him taking advantage of Jack's instincts. As the thing is, while the Xiaolin monks do have access to some Shen Gong Wu, and a lot of their more powerful ones are still stuck in the temple. However, they are able to use what they have on hand to basically turn the tables on Jack, as they end up leading Jack, as they manage to sneak out of the building that they're hiding in, and they end up putting out a trail of bananas, which Jack ends up following to a nearby bamboo thicket. And as Jack is just eating banana after banana, Omi ends up putting the changing chopsticks in one banana and just drops it in front of him. And as Jack goes to pick that banana up, Omi grabs at it too, and thus, since both of them are technically touching the changing chopsticks, Omi challenges Jack to a Xiaolin showdown, which Jack accepts in his own little animalistic way. In this case, with Jack ending up wagering the monkey staff because obvious reasons, and Omi wagering the Mantis flip coin. And the challenge, it's a game of monkey bars. Basically, they are going to be jumping from monkey bar to monkey bar and just fighting each other, and whoever falls off the monkey bars into the pit below first is considered the loser. As such, conditions met, Xiaolin showdown time, and again, really damn cool, as the bamboo thicket that they were nearby ends up growing to exponential levels, and it turns into a giant cage of bamboo and bars and all over and everything. It's again really damn cool. As such, the Xiaolin showdown is effect, and unfortunately, Omi is not doing well from the get-go, as the thing is, Monkey Jack is a lot more of a formidable opponent than regular Jack, as Monkey Jack is a lot more feral and animalistic, and he's just going straight for the kill as he's just rushing at Omi and trying to knock him aside. Thankfully, Omi is able to somewhat turn the tables as he has the Mantis flip coin in order to maneuver through the monkey bars, but again, he still needs to find a way to trick Jack into falling into the pit below. And thankfully he has that, as he ends up calling to Clay and asks for another banana, which Clay obliges, and, well, what Omi does is that he puts the banana underneath a set of monkey bars and calls Jack over. And when Jack goes to the monkey bars, he tries reaching down to get the banana, but he's not smart enough to pull it through. Man, what he could do is just turn his hand. But while Jack is distracted with the banana, Omi ends up taking advantage of the situation to sneak behind Jack, and he bites him. Yeah, he bites him. The thing is, earlier in the battle, Jack did the exact same thing to Omi, but I'm willing to give him a pass because at this point he's more monkey than man. But no, I don't know. It's weird that Omi did it too. I guess it's a taste of his own medicine thing. It's still weird to me. Either way, though, this hurts Jack so much that he loses footing and falls off the monkey bars. And so Omi ends up winning the Xiaolin showdown, winning the monkey staff from Jack, and, well, reverting him back to normal. As such, with the monkey staff now in the Xiaolin monk's hands and everything back to normal, the Xiaolin monks just make a run for it, as the monkeys are now leaderless, and when Jack returns to normal and starts regaining his faculties, the monkeys just turn on him, which, poor Jack, he really got screwed in this episode. Unfortunately, though, while the Xiaolin monks are able to reach where the Eagle Scope was supposed to be, they just miss it, and yeah, we see that from a distance Chase Young is watching, using the very Eagle Scope he just got to just keep an eye on the Xiaolin monks. Which, yeah, and the thing is, with Jack preoccupied, Wuya once again ditched the evil boy genius for a new partner. In this case, Chase Young, as now Wuya is hanging out with this master of evil, so to speak. However, while Chase has gotten the Eagle Scope we see that this whole thing is not part of his grand plan. You see, I mean, okay, he did this because he felt it was necessary, as he doesn't want the good guys getting access to knowledge that could literally destroy all evil in the world. No. Rather, his grand plan is still ongoing. And of course, as he talks about this plan, Wuya wonders what it is, because as at one point he mentions that this opportunity, that the Xiaolin monks losing this battle may be an opportunity for them to join Chase Young. Something Wuya finds absurd, but Chase kind of quickly shuts Wuya up as he continues elaborating, as he doesn't want every Xiaolin monk to join his side, just one. One Xiaolin monk that he hopes to one day turn and make him his partner for all of eternity. And of course, Wuya asks who it is, and Chase just tells Wuya, why the Chosen One, of course. Which, yeah, considering what would happen back in the Evil Within episode, you can kind of guess who that Chosen One is, so yeah. But from there, yeah, despite this big revelation, the episode ends on a typical silly Xiaolin in a typical Xiaolin showdown way, as we see Omi using the monkey staff to just act like a monkey and play along with it before he starts scratching himself in a place that he shouldn't, and, well, we don't see where it is, everyone looks horrified at where it is, and Dojo just ends the episode there, so there you go. So yeah, the Year of the Green Monkey. Quite frankly, really good episode. Again, it's nice to see Chase Young back. I think that's the biggest point. I think that's the biggest factor in this episode that really gives it the weight that it deserves. Cause, well, Chase is a good villain. I hope I've established that in the episodes he's been in prior. And this episode, once again, continues to show how crafty Chase Young is as a villain. Something that I do like in this episode is that the plan that he presents doesn't feel any different from what you would expect in a standard Xiaolin Shonen episode. In previous episodes, when we had like a villain of the week or Jack Spicer has tried to plot something against the Xiaolin monks, what he achieved in this episode is usually his end goal. He wants to try and beat back the Xiaolin monks, get stronger, have his own army, take over the world and all that crap. And technically speaking, Jack accomplished that this episode. Well, yeah, Chase tricked him because it's the Year of the Green Monkey and using the monkey staff was dangerous at this point, but Jack secured a win. He led an army of monkeys straight on the Xiaolin temple and pretty much took it over. And the only reason the Xiaolin monks were able to beat him in the end was because they were able to outthink him and put him in a situation where he lost his power, as, you know, losing the Xiaolin showdown resulted in him losing the monkey staff. But the thing is, for Chase, taking over the Xiaolin Temple, that was just step one of his big plan. His overall goal this entire episode wasn't to beat the Xiaolin monks, it was to get the Eagle Scope, because while we've established that Chase Young doesn't really give a shit about the Shengong Wu, he knows what would happen if the Xiaolin monks got access to this specific Shengong Wu, and as a result, he's smart enough to realize, okay, it's going to reveal itself soon, I need to keep the monks distracted so that when it does reveal itself, I can just go in and grab it, and by the time they've resolved this crisis, I'll have already gotten what I wanted, and that's kind of what happened to the episode, the Xiaolin monks are able to do what they always do. They outthink the bad guy. They do a Xiaolin showdown. They win the day. Jack Spicer is beaten and presumably mauled by monkeys. But despite that victory, they lost. They actually lost this episode. And the thing is, and I'm not saying this is like a big thing, because the Xiaolin monks have faced losses before. Sorry. So them being outsmarted by Chase Young is not like a big thing. And even by the end, and even when they realize that Chase beat them to the Eagle Scope, Omi states that they may have lost this battle, but the war is still ongoing. So they're not like out of the bit. So they're not like completely disheartened by this loss. But the thing is, Chase's plan just relied on everyone doing what they would normally do. All he had to do was just push a few pieces into place, and everything just lined up perfectly. He gave Jack the means to invade the temple. He counted on Jack invading the temple at this specific time. And while he probably expected the Xiaolin monks to eventually defeat Jack, he knew that by the time that they would figure out how to outsmart him, that would be time that they wouldn't have have to find the Eagle Scope. And I like that. It's really smart. And quite frankly, the plan itself is really not... The distraction itself is a good one, because I'll admit, the image of the Xiaolin monks being overrun by the green monkeys and sequestered from the rest of the temple to the point where they have to hide in one solitary building or risk being mauled by a bunch of green monkeys. Good plan. That's a good plan. And again, because of the sheer tenacity of it, almost the absurdity of it, you would never suspect that this was all just one giant distraction. And the only reason Omi figured out it was because of the knowledge the Fountain of Wii gave him. Otherwise, how would you have suspected this? You would just look at this and think, oh, Jack actually did something smart. We just gotta take him out and get everything together. But because of the Fountain of Wii, Omi was able to make connections that nobody else could. Which I like. And so, and again, it helped. What makes it better too is that we still know that Chase Young has an end goal in mind. He does still have something bigger planned for on the horizon. And yeah, as he said before, he wants one of the Xiaolin monks. Obviously, Omi, but it's still very clear that he's just continuing to play the long game, and that's another thing that works in the episode. Again, this continues to showcase Chase as a master manipulator. We've seen that in previous episodes, specifically Master Monk Guan, as he was able to use Master Monk Guan to bring him dojo so he could mix dojo into his Lao Ming Lo soup. And now we see it here as he pretty much just goes to Jack, takes advantage of Jack's hero worship in order to get him to do what he wants. And then while Jack is over here fighting the monks and keeping them occupied, Chase is over here doing what he sets out to do. Edge, I like that, and it really, and the fact that by the end the Xiaolin monks are still powerless to stop Chase, even though they figured out what his plan had been, it still makes it. It makes you realize that Chase is again someone that you really cannot underestimate. Again, we've seen that in previous episodes. After all, we understand that there's more to Chase than meets the eye. But the thing is, in this case, how Chase beat the monks was just by playing them, putting them in a situation that they would probably not question normally, and then likewise just using that situation to his advantage in order to get what he wants. It's, again, really intelligent and smart, and lets you know that Chase is not someone that those Xiaolin monks cannot just simply out-muscle. Like, we already know he's very skilled in terms of combat, but even the previous encounter they had with him when he was acting as the antagonist for an episode, they literally just had to fight him and win. I mean, okay, they didn't beat him, Master Monk Guan did, but still, it was a standard fight, and it was a standard fight. And after that, in the next episode, he wasn't even fighting the monks. The main villain was Sabini, and he just came in and told Omi, okay, this is how you beat the guy, which added more layers to him, but now we're seeing him as another form of evil, the calculating evil, the subtle evil. It's nice. I like that. It's smart. It's nice. I like that, and it works. And as a result, it does give the episode a bit more gravitas to it, as we see Chase Young admit that he has higher aspirations to get Omi on his side. So again, I dig that. It's nice. It's some good stuff. And again, the plan? It's a solid plan. Basically, Chase just took advantage of the time of year, namely, he said it was the year of the green monkey, so monkey power be at its most strongest, and just used that to his advantage. And for some villains, like I said, they would see this as their golden opportunity to take down the good guys and secure a victory, which Chase again took advantage of, as he gave that power straight to Jack and just let him go nuts with it. And again, seeing the temple gate overrun by the monkeys is actually a pretty intimidating sight. Seeing the Xiaolin monks just do their best to fight the monkeys, only to be overpowered by these feral creatures, is actually it's kind of a genuine WTF moment. And seeing them just get pushed back, and seeing them just try to figure out how they can beat back the monkeys without worrying about being swarmed is nice. I do like that. So I do think that's pretty darn cool. And of course, we should probably talk about the Shengang Wu reveal in this episode. And they're really damn cool. The Fountain of Wii is admittedly an overpowered Shengang Wu, but it's an overpowered Shengang Wu within reason. Like the Sapphire Dragon, this one has a major downside if not used properly. As again, it gives the user unlimited knowledge, but unfortunately, overexposure can cause someone's head to explode, and the knowledge that they do get may not even be useful to them, and they'll just be spouting off random tidbits that nobody would give a shit about. So the eagle, and so they need the eagle scope in order to figure out everything specifically. And as for the eagle scope itself, well, in conjunction with the Fountain of Wii, it's probably something useful, but otherwise, it's just a telescope. So, take what you get, I guess. But again, otherwise, I think the episode is really damn good. Again, the threat with Jack and the monkeys is a pretty damn good one as we see him overtake the entire temple. And like what Chase Young is still a good antagonist, and likewise, by the end, when we learn that this whole thing was just one big distraction so Chase could get the eagle scope and keep it away from the good guys, it's really cool, and it's really cool, helps further establish just how great of a villain Chase is, as he was able to secure the win by utilizing distraction and subterfuge, and then ultimately learning that his end goal is to get one of the Xiaolin monks on his side. Genuinely creepy, and it does kind of make you worry for their safety, so I dig that. Plus, and I should probably mention this now, like I said, Wuya is now, from this episode forward, Wuya is now working with Chase Young. To kind of give a little spoiler, Wuya's not in charge this time. In previous times when Wuya has ditched Jack Spicer for someone better, typically, it's usually someone that Wuya can control to a degree. Like when she tried to turn on Jack and wanted to, like when she tried working with Katnape, as she tried getting Katnape to work with her, and Katnape played ball enough, it again didn't work out well. Or when she tried working with Raimundo, which she was able to get Raimundo on her side by promising him his heart's desire. Or when she would typically ditch Jack for more powerful mooks like Mala Mala Jong or Raksha. In those cases, those were situations where Wuya could manipulate things to her advantage and still be the one in charge. But Chase isn't taking any of her crap. Because the thing is, like I said, Chase is not Wuya. While Wuya tends to be a much smarter villain than Jack, her solution to most problems is almost the same thing as Jack's. Namely, hit the problem hard. And yeah, I'm not saying that Wuya isn't capable of thinking of much larger plans. We saw that like one episode prior with the Xiaolin Comet, as she was able to get Jack to manipulate the situation enough so that she was able to get control of Raimundo. But the thing is, when put in a situation where she has to choose between you getting a Shengong Wu or fighting the good guys, she'll probably just try to aim to do both, and she will try to brute force her way to do it. It's typically how she likes to do things. Again, she's capable of being smarter. Ultimately, she's just as short-sighted as Jack is in the long run. And while she can plan for grander things, again, it's usually just, okay, what's the next big plan for world domination? Whereas with Chase, he's much smarter, and unlike Wuya, he has a body. He has power. He doesn't want the Shengong Wu. So Wuya can't easily manipulate him like she can other people. And when she tries to do her usual grandeur and gravitas when she's working with Chase just doesn't even take any of her crap. He pretty much just lets her know, do not question me. If you want to hang out with me, you do what I say or you leave. It's as simple as that. And I kind of like that because essentially it reverses the dynamic that you would normally see with Wuya when she interacts with her subordinates. As this time, now she's the one having to listen to someone else, as Chase is definitely the much more competent villain compared to Jack. But he's also the one that's least likely to do what she wants, so it definitely helps kind of make her a new interesting dynamic, so I dig it. But yeah, but overall, when it comes down to the episode, like I said, really good. Helps further showcase how cool of a villain Chase Young is. The plan itself was really smart. Seeing Jack use the monkeys to overtake the Xiaolin Temple is awesome. Action, of course, is always awesome. The Xiaolin Showdown, pretty creative and fun. Overall, I think this is just a really damn good episode, so yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. I thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and I just gotta give a heads up. Next week, the Xiaolin perspectives are gonna go on another hiatus, as next week I'm gonna be doing a vlog on Kraven the Hunter. But when the new year rolls around, we will once again bring the Xiaolin perspectives back, as we kind of sort of see the aftermath of Jack having to realize that we had ditched him again. So till then, I hope you have a good night, and take care.